Good morning students. I hope you are all doing good. Let us see what we are going to discuss in today's class. Good morning ma. In previous class we have seen liquid solutions. In that two types of liquid solutions are there, ideal solutions and non-ideal solutions. What about these properties? Okay, how they are classified and how we have explained all these things we have seen in last class. In today's class we will start with the next side heading, that is colligative properties. Very important for CBSE as well as for NEET also. So concentrate well here. Coming to these colligative properties, before going to the direct topic before going to directly properties, we have to see some important points related to colligative properties. First one, these colligative properties are applied to only solid in liquid solutions in which solid is non-volatile. Colligative properties are applied to only solid in liquid solutions in which solid is non-volatile. Second one, these are applied to only dilute solutions you know what is meant by dilute solution. Solute quantity is very less when compared to solvent quantity. The type of solutions are called dilute solutions. So we can apply these colligative properties to dilute solutions only. First one, colligative properties are applied to only solid in liquid solutions in which the condition is solid is non-volatile. Second one, colligative properties are applied to only dilute solutions. Third one, colligative properties depend on number of solute particles, colligative properties depend on number of solute particles irrespective of their nature. What is the meaning of this third point? Colligative properties depend on number of solute particles. That means these properties depend on number of solute particles. Whatever the nature of solute particle, they don't bother about that one. They will depend on number only. If number of solute particles are increased, what happened to colligative properties? Next, if number of solute particles are decreased, what happened to colligative properties? Those are all we are going to see in next coming properties. Okay, before that, what are the 3 points we have discussed now? First one, colligative properties are applied to only solid in liquid solutions. Second one, colligative properties are applied to only dilute solutions. Third one, colligative properties depend on number of solute particles irrespective of their nature. Okay, next, coming to fourth one, colligative properties are used to measure the gram molecular weight of unknown substances. Colligative properties are used to measure the gram molecular weight of unknown substances. Okay, these are the important points we need to remember before going to the colligative properties, before going to these properties. First one, colligative properties are applied to only solid in liquid solutions in which solid is non-volatile. Second one, colligative properties are applied to only dilute solutions. Third one, Colligative properties depend on number of solute particles irrespective of their nature. And fourth one, colligative properties are used to measure the gram molecular weight of unknown substances. Some unknown substances like polymers, very high complex structures, these are all, we don't know the formula. Without knowing the formula, we cannot calculate gram molecular weight. Okay, in those cases, these properties are useful to find the gram molecular weight of unknown substances. That is the meaning of this fourth point. Colligative properties are used to measure the gram molecular weight of unknown substance. Okay, ma'am. These are the important points under colligative properties. Now, what are the colligative properties we have to see? Totally, we have 4 colligative properties. Those are, first one, relative lowering of vapor pressure, RLVP. Second one, elevation in boiling point. Study of this elevation in boiling point is called ebullioscopy. Third one, depression in freezing point, cryoscopy. And fourth one, osmotic pressure. These are the 4 colligative properties. What are those? First one, relative lowering of vapor pressure. Second one, elevation in boiling point. Third one, depression in freezing point. And fourth one, osmotic pressure. Property wise we will study, and every property has one formula. Okay, by using that formula, problems will be there. So first we will go through property wise. Let us keep our side heading, next side heading, that is relative lowering of vapor pressure. What is that, ma'am? Relative lowering of vapor pressure. Let us see that one. Okay, before going to this relative lowering of vapor pressure, let us consider the concept of vapor pressure once again. I have taken some amount of pure solvent at a particular temperature, and I observe that slowly its vapor pressure increases. Slowly its vapor pressure increases, and finally after some time this vapor pressure is going to be remain same at equilibrium. Okay, at that condition we understood that equilibrium is established. At that equilibrium only the pressure applied by these molecules on the liquid is called vapor pressure of that liquid. Already we know. So this is pure solvent. Pure solvent vapor pressure is P0. This P0 is because of how many molecules? For example, here I am telling here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Because of 13 molecules, for the pure solvent, we absorb some pressure that is equal to P0. That is 0.5 or 0.2, whatever it is. Whatever the particular value, numerical value is there, that is represented as P0. This is called vapor pressure of pure liquid. Okay, now I am going to mix to this water or solvent a non-volatile solute. What is meant by non-volatile solute? Non-volatile means there is no chance of that solid to be converted to gaseous state. When it is in solid state, there is no chance for that solid state to be converted to gaseous state. That is called non-volatile. Okay, already we told the condition that these are applied to, colligative properties are applied to solutions in which those solutions must be solid and liquid solutions, in which solid is non-volatile. Already we have seen that one. Now I have already taken pure solvent. To this we want to add solid in which it has no chance of escaping into gaseous state. So I am going to add to this solvent only, and I prepared a solution. After the preparation of solution, even gas molecules are observed. After the preparation of solution, even gas molecules are observed. What are those gas molecules? Those are from solution. What are those gas molecules? Those are from solution. In solution, what are the particles present? Solid, which is non-volatile, and liquid. Solid and liquid. Okay. Now let us consider pure solvent vapor pressure is P naught. Now I am coming with solution in which I dissolved some amount of solid into this solvent to form a solution. When we dissolve some amount of solid into the solution, into the solvent, definitely some solid particles are present on the surface also, because it is a homogeneous solution. If it is homogeneous solution, definitely the solid particles are uniformly distributed throughout the liquid. Then only it is becoming solid liquid solution. Already we discussed that in this chapter, whatever the solutions we are discussing, those are all true solutions only. Here solid is added to liquid, then it will become a solution in which solid particles are uniformly distributed throughout the solution. Then solid particles are present on the surface, middle and bottom also. Everywhere solid particles are present. Everywhere. Okay, that is clear. Now coming to pure solvent. On the surface we have 100 molecules. On the surface we have 100 molecules in pure solvent. Out of 100 molecules, how many molecules are converted into gaseous state at a particular temperature and they attain equilibrium? Only 13 molecules are converted into gaseous state, and these 13 molecules out of 100 molecules, they are applying some pressure on some force on the unit area of this liquid surface. Then that is called pressure applied by the gases on the liquid surface, which is called pure vapor pressure P naught. That is okay. This pure vapor pressure P naught is because of how many molecules? 13 molecules. This pure vapor pressure P naught is because of how many molecules? 13 molecules. That is those are obtained from out of how many molecules? 100 molecules. Now coming to the solution. Solution has both solid and liquid. Solution has both solid and liquid. Is it right? When solution has both solid and liquid, definitely on the surface some solid particles are also there. Already I told. On the surface some solid particles are going to occupy some positions. Then coming to surface of solution, previously how many molecules are there? 100 molecules. Now 100 molecules will not be there. Only 90 molecules are present. because those 10 molecules are occupied by solid solute, but those solute particles are not volatile. Those solid particles are not volatile, so they cannot be converted to gaseous state. But see here, water molecules, how many are there? Solvent molecules. Solvent molecules are 90 because some molecules are occupied by solute also. Some molecules are occupied by solute also. That's why number of molecules present on the surface is decreased. Number of molecules of solvent present on the surface is getting decreased because some molecules are occupied by solid solute also. Then previously, out of 100 molecules, how many molecules are escaped into gaseous state and they are applying pressure? 13 molecules. But here only 90 molecules are present on the surface. Out of these 90 molecules, can 30 molecules escape into gaseous state? No. Because out of 100 molecules, 13 molecules can escape. Then definitely out of 90 molecules, less than 13 molecules only they can escape into gaseous state. Then it will be around 10 molecules. Out of 100, 13 molecules were. Because of that pressure is P0. Now out of 90 molecules, 10 molecules are only escaped into gaseous state. Why these 10 molecules? For example only I am telling here, because when compared to these molecules present in gaseous state, these molecules number is less, because some molecules of water are occupied by displaced by solid particles. That's why less number of water particles are present on the surface. When less number of water molecules are present on the surface, for them possibility will be less to be evaporated. That's why out of 90 molecules only 10 molecules are escaped into gaseous state. Those 10 molecules are applying some pressure P. Out of these two, which is greater value? This P0 is because of 13 molecules, this P is because of 10 molecules. So when the number of molecules are increased in a container, their vapor pressure also increases. So every time P0 is greater than P. Vapor pressure of pure solvent is every time greater than vapor pressure of solution. This P is called vapor pressure of solution. P0 is called vapor pressure of solvent, P is called vapor pressure of solution. So every time P0 is greater than P. Sir, you can ask me a doubt. Here also liquid molecules are only escaped into gaseous state, but that number of liquid molecules escaped into gaseous state is depending on solute particles. If number of solute particles are increased further less number of molecules of solvent will be present on the surface, further less number of molecules will be escaped into gaseous state, and then pressure of solution is getting decreased. Like that, when concentration of solute is increased, pressure of solution is getting decreased. That one once again after completion of this I will tell ma. Before that, pure solvent has this much pressure and solution has pressure P. Then every time P0 is greater than P. Every time P0 is greater than P. Now P0 minus P is called lowering of vapor pressure. Initial P0 value 0.5 atmosphere. P value 0.3 atmosphere. How much it is decreased? If they ask anyone question to you, immediately you will do one thing. P0 minus P is equal to 0.5 minus 0.3 is equal to 0.2 atmospheres. That means this much pressure is lowered. That is called lowering of vapor pressure. So P0 minus P is called lowering of vapor pressure. Is it clear? But this is not our colligative property. Our colligative property is relative lowering of vapor pressure, RLVP. Our colligative property is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Then what about relativity? Relativity means comparison with others. Is it correct, ma? Relativity means with comparison to others. Now, what is meant by relative lowering of vapor pressure? This is called lowering of vapor pressure. How much the vapor pressure is lowered with respect to vapor pressure of solvent? That is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. How much vapor pressure is decreased with respect to vapor pressure of solvent is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. How much vapor pressure is decreased, that is called lowering of vapor pressure only. How much vapor pressure is decreased, that is called lowering of vapor pressure only. But how much vapor pressure is decreased with respect to P0, that is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. This derivation we want to calculate. P0 minus P by P0 is equal to P0. P0 minus P by P0 is equal to P0. Sorry, P0 minus P by P0 is equal to relative lowering of vapor pressure. Is it okay, ma? This relative lowering of vapor pressure formula we are going to calculate from Raoult's law only. Let us see what is that Raoult's law. Again, I hope till now you are clear, ma? Okay, see here, ma. According to Raoult's law, total pressure P is equal to PA plus PB. Total pressure P is equal to PA plus PB. Here, in this condition, capital P is equal to total pressure, which is equal to vapor pressure of solution only, because here solute is non-volatile. Is it correct, ma'am? This is solution. This solution vapor pressure is because of solvent molecules only, but as solute particles are present, that solute molecules number is affected. Solute particles are present in the liquid, then only number of solvent molecules are affected. That's why even though these are belonging to solvent, we will consider this pressure as vapor pressure of solution only. This pressure as vapor pressure of solution, because it is affected by presence of solute particles. If solute particles are not there, this is the vapor pressure. That's why I wrote this is vapor pressure of pure solvent and this is vapor pressure of solution. Is it okay? Now coming to this one, the total pressure is nothing but vapor pressure of solution. This total pressure is in condition of ideal solutions, Raoult's law. Here this is vapor pressure of solution, because we have no solute particles. That's why solution has what is the total pressure, that is only called vapor pressure of solution. That's why I wrote total pressure is equal to vapor pressure of solution. So P is equal to vapor pressure of solution, clear. PA is equal to 0 because A is equal to non-volatile solute. When it is non-volatile, its molecules are not converted into gaseous state. Because of that, PA is equal to 0. as A is non-volatile solute, okay, its particles will not be converted to gaseous state, because of that Pa is equal to 0. Next implies Pb is equal to, I am writing the formula of partial vapor pressure of beamer, chi b into P naught, chi b into P naught of B. Pb is equal to chi b into P naught of B, where P naught is equal to P naught of B is equal to P naught is equal to vapor pressure of solvent. In ideal solutions it is P naught of B. In solid liquid solutions, dilute solutions, okay, this is P naught is equal to vapor pressure of solvent. This implies Pb is equal to, chi b can be written as 1 minus chi a into P naught. Here again P naught only I am writing because P naught A is not there. Solute is non-volatile. Solute is non-volatile means its vapor pressure will not be there. That's why I am writing P naught of B as P naught only. Two terms are not there. That's why we can write as normal P naught only. If two terms are there, in ideal solutions two terms are there, because both liquids are volatile in nature. Okay, now you are clear, I think. Pb is equal to P naught minus chi a into P naught. This is the value of Pb, and this is the formula. Pa is equal to 0. Substitute these values in total pressure P. Total pressure means here pressure of solution. P is equal to, Pa is 0, Pb only it is there. Pb value P naught minus chi a into P naught. P is equal to P naught minus chi a into P naught. This P value let us send that side, and this total value it will become here. Then minus value will become plus only. Chi a into P naught is equal to P naught minus P. P naught into chi a, this value I brought here, minus will become plus. This one minus is not there, so this one it comes this side, it will become minus P. P naught into chi a is equal to P naught minus P. This implies P naught minus P by P naught is equal to chi a. P naught minus P by P naught is equal to chi a. This is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. That relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to chi a. P naught minus P by P naught is equal to chi a. Okay, now P naught minus P by P naught is equal to chi a formula Na by Na plus Nb. As colligative properties are applied to dilute solution, as it is dilute solution, Na value is very much smaller than Nb. Because solute is very small when compared to solvent, automatically Na is very small when compared to Nb. Therefore, Na plus Nb, approximately we can take it as Nb only. Like example, Na is equal to 0.1, Nb is equal to 100. Na plus Nb is equal to 100 plus 0.1 is equal to 100.1. Approximately we can take it as 100. That's why in denominator alone we can neglect this Na and the value will become Nb. Please don't neglect that one in numerator, because it is numerator contains only Na. Any higher value is not there. In the numerator only Na is there. Even though they are staying in one thing. Okay, ma. In numerator only Na is there. Along with that, if any comparison is there, then only this chance. But here only Na, na, so we should not neglect that one in numerator. In denominator only we have to neglect, and the formula will become P naught minus P by P naught is equal to Na by Nb. P naught minus P by P naught is equal to Na by Nb. P naught minus P by P naught is equal to Na formula Wa by Ma. Nb by Wb. Those are the formulae for number of moles. Now number of moles of B is in denominator. Wa by Mb. That Mb will be coming to numerator. Wb is remained as denominator only. Nb can be written as Wb by Mb. Nb is equal to Wb by Nb. If you substitute, capital M. If you substitute these values here, it will become W by Mb. That Mb will be going to numerator and Wb will be remain as denominator only. Is it okay? Nb is equal to W by Mb. Now I have to write the terms. Those terms are W is equal to weight of solute. Ma is equal to gram molecular weight of solute. Wb is equal to weight of solvent. Mb is equal to gram molecular weight of solvent. P naught is equal to vapor pressure of solvent. P is equal to vapor pressure of solution. These are the terms, and this is the first formula related to Colgate property. Okay, ma. P naught minus P by P naught is equal to Wa by Ma into Mb by Wb. Before starting this first Colgate property itself, I am writing here. Let capital A is equal to solute, capital B is equal to solvent. So what are the terms related to A? Those are belonging to solute. What are the terms related to B? Those are called solvent. I hope you are clear, ma. Note down carefully. P naught minus P by P naught is equal to Wa by Ma into Mb by Wb. Like this one signed. This is first Colgate property, ma. P naught minus P by P naught. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to Wa by Ma into Mb by Wb. Very important. These formulae all you have to practice well. Okay, ma. And the terms are also noted down well. You have to note down the terms also very well. And this is about our first Colgate property. We will go to next Colgate property, ma. Let us go to our second Colgate property, elevation in boiling point. Study of elevation in boiling point is called ebullioscopy. Study of elevation in boiling point is called ebullioscopy. Before going to this property, first we need to know the definition of boiling point. General question is, What is the definition of boiling point? If any teacher asks any student, immediately they will say that, if they remember, the temperature where liquid is converted to gas. The temperature where liquid is converted to gas is called boiling point. Like that they will say. But that is not actual definition, man. Because my question is, in summer season, definitely you will see lakes and ponds are getting dried out. That means water quantity decreases. Even sometimes water will not be there in the summer season. What is the meaning of that one? Water which is present in liquid state will be converted to gas state in summer. In summer, highly temperature reaches up to 45, hardly. 45 also it is very critical for us. Is it correct? Then what is the meaning? At 45 degrees itself, water is going to be converted from liquid state to gas state. But practically, all the students will know that what is the boiling point of water? 100 degrees centigrade. If boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade, then how it will change from liquid state to gas state at 45 degrees only? Meaning of that one, it is not at all correct. The temperature where liquid is converted to gas is not the definition of boiling point. Then what is the actual definition of boiling point? Now first write the definition carefully. The temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid is getting equal to the temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid is getting equal to atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. The temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid is getting equal to atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. That is the definition. Note down the definition carefully. Now I am going to explain what is the definition of this boiling point in a clear way. Okay, let us consider a beaker of water at time t is equal to 0. This water is not converted to gas state. Okay, this one I am going to explain at 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, here I am writing. At 25 degrees centigrade, how many molecules of gas state and liquid state are in equilibrium? 10 molecules of gas is in equilibrium with liquid. Because of that, pressure of that liquid, that is vapor pressure of that liquid, is equal to 0.2 atmosphere. At 25 degrees centigrade, P naught is equal to 0.2 atmosphere. This one totally I am explaining at sea level, because when we are going to higher altitudes like hills, pressure might be affected, atmospheric pressure might be affected. I informed that this is at vapor pressure of the liquid is equal atmospheric pressure. So now I am doing this experiment at sea level, normally in our level, where we are standing on it, at that level, that is called sea level. So at 25 degrees centigrade, what is the pressure of this liquid? Already pressure definition you know. At equilibrium, these gas molecules will apply some pressure on the surface. Okay, that is 0.2 atmospheres. Now I am increasing the temperature. I am going to heat this container. When temperature is going to be increased, what happened to number of molecules increases? Then a new equilibrium is established. When temperature is constant at 40 degrees centigrade, again a new equilibrium is established, because rate of forward reaction increases. Okay, then again equilibrium will be shifted in a way that rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. In that way, vapor pressure is getting increased. Otherwise, when temperature is increased, more number of molecules they can be escaped into gaseous state. Automatically, more vapor pressure is there. Vapor pressure will be increased. Is it clear? Now, at 40 degrees centigrade, this pressure will become 0.5 atmosphere. Because inside these molecules are number increases, evaporation increases. Now conversion of this liquid to gaseous state at any other temperature is called evaporation, not boiling. So in summer, what is happening to the lake water that is not boiled, that is evaporation. Evaporation can be taken place at any temperature. Evaporation can be taken place at any temperature, but boiling will be taken place at a particular temperature only. Okay, now next. Before going to this one, next temperature, at sea level, what is atmospheric pressure? Atmospheric pressure is 1 atm. Now I am increasing the temperature. At 60 degrees centigrade, this P0 will become 0.7 atm. Because furthermore, when temperature is increased, inside pressure is getting increased. At 80 degrees centigrade, this P0 will become 0.9 atmosphere, and finally at 100 degrees centigrade, this vapor pressure will become 1 atmosphere. This P0 is getting equal to atmospheric pressure for water. This is explained for water at what temperature? 100 degrees centigrade. That's why the boiling point of water is equal to 100 degrees centigrade. The boiling point of water is equal to 100 degrees centigrade, because at 100 degrees centigrade only, vapor pressure of water is getting equal to atmospheric pressure. That means 1 atm. Here also 1 atm. This is the explanation of boiling point definition only. What is that, man? This is only about boiling point definition. Now read the definition once again. The temperature at which pressure of liquid, vapor pressure of liquid is getting equal to atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. Is it clear? That is the definition, man. Now I have done one experiment at sea level. 1 atmosphere is equal to 1 atm. 1 atmosphere is equal to pressure is equal to 1 atm. While this is happening at initially 25 degrees centigrade, P0 is equal to 0.2 atmospheres. Okay, while the temperature is getting increased, vapor pressure is also getting increased, and finally at 100 degrees centigrade for water, this P0 is becoming 1 atmosphere pressure. That's why this 100 degrees centigrade is the boiling point of water. Like that, any other liquid if you take, they will also achieve that 1 atmosphere pressure, but there is a chance of less temperature or high temperature, because that is depending on nature of liquid and intermolecular force of attraction. Boiling point discussion depends on intermolecular force of attraction. Different liquids contain different boiling points because they are all differed by intermolecular forces. Okay, ma? Now at this condition of boiling point, every molecule of liquid has such energy to be converted to gaseous state. That's why at boiling point, both states are present in equilibrium state. Liquid state and gaseous state both are equal, almost forward reaction is equal to backward reaction. Both states are present in equilibrium. Not only at boiling point, at any other temperature also, those two states are in equilibrium. At that condition only we calculated vapor pressure. Okay, ma? This is the definition of boiling point. The temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid is getting equal to atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. Is it clear? Now in next class I will teach What about the elevation at boiling point formula? After that, depression in freezing point. After that, osmotic pressure. Like that, we will continue. I hope you are understanding, ma. In today's class, whatever the topics we have discussed, those are started with colligative properties. Those properties depend on what are the characteristics. After that, what are the colligative properties? I gave the information, and we started with first one, relative lowering of vapor pressure, and I derived the relative lowering of vapor pressure depends on Raoult's law only. Finally, we got the formula. Second one, we started with elevation and boiling point. This elevation boiling point is nothing but boiling point. We have to know the definition first. So we have learned the boiling point definition. The temperature at which vapor pressures of liquid is getting equal to atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. And this is about the explanation regarding today's class, ma. I hope everyone is clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask me at any time. Thank you all. Have a nice day.